naming, by title, 24 people he's put in a grand jury. That's a lot of people, including high-level FBI agents, intelligence community agents, Hillary Clinton operatives. Those people have all given sworn testimony to John Durham. He's indicted the Clinton campaign. He's indicted Steele's source. He's indicted the FBI through that lawyer who lied to the FISA court and doctored information. That's pretty strong.
All right, Christy here with Kash Patel. Boy, what a crazy few days it's been. I know you've been making your rounds. What has been the topic that you feel like most people are wanting to talk about right now?
Thanks for having me, first of all, here at Clout. It's my first time on, so super excited to be with you. I think the two of the things that they're most wanting to talk about is what's going to happen in the midterms in 2024, obviously, with President Trump here speaking. I think everyone will be happy with the answers. The other thing that, at least with me, is, Russiagate, Durham, is there going to be accountability and things like that? And Devin Nunes and I and Lee Smith talked on the main stage last night just before the president about that.
It's crazy because I saw the documentary when it first came out that you were heavily involved in plot against the president, right? And then to see Durham's investigation, everything lining up, and gosh, I mean, that's got to feel validating. What's that like?
I mean, as a former federal prosecutor, it's, who's brought extensive terrorism prosecutions around the world, you understand why it takes him so long. People are like, oh, he's in year 2.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was like, where is Durham? Where is Durham?
He's only in 3 indictments in year 2. I spent 3-4 years putting together prosecutions before I got to the X on the indictment. So Durham's working with 5-7 guys, maybe. He's special counsel. Doesn't have the whole DOJ, doesn't have the old FBI. So he also, like I said last night, he's got to get every sentence right. Otherwise, they will excoriate him. I mean, they already are all of a sudden. A 40-year process.
You see it already. I mean, the mainstream media is saying, no, Hillary was not spying. I mean, they're just completely throwing him under the bus, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest response to that is the following. Everybody that says it wasn't spying or it wasn't an infiltration, just go back to the House congressional testimony. The Attorney General under oath said the Hillary Clinton campaign led the spying on the Trump campaign. The FBI director, Chris Wray, no friend of Donald Trump, said under oath it was spying and it was an intentional fraud on the FISA court by the FBI.
Wow.
And the Inspector General of the Department of Justice, no friend of Donald Trump, said the same under oath and that Hillary paid for it. So if those 3 guys are wrong under oath, I guess they'll go to prison versus the fake news media. You get to pick who you want to believe.
Plenty of proof. I mean, and now we have this documentation, but gosh, how long have we heard? Lock her up, lock her up. People are fed up. They want to see some action. They want to see some accountability. Are we going to see it or not?
Yeah. So like I said last night, I fully believe come this summer, based on what John Durham's already laid out in his 3 indictments and the pleadings he's filed. Because look, here's the thing. Not one leak from that guy. Not one leak in the media. All they're doing is personally attacking a 40-year prosecutor. Good luck with that. He doesn't respond to that. He doesn't care. But he's naming, by title, 24 people he's put in a grand jury. That's a lot of people, including high-level FBI agents, intelligence community agents, Hillary Clinton operatives. Those people have all given sworn testimony to John Durham. He's indicted the Clinton campaign. He's indicted Steele's source. He's indicted the FBI through that lawyer who lied to the FISA court and doctored information. That's pretty strong stuff. But to build your case upwards, to get to the deputy directors of the world, the Andy McCabe's, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, Fusion GPS, you have to go from the bottom of the pyramid up, and that's what he's doing, and that's why I think he's taking his methodical time, because it's the only way to do it. So you'll see it this summer.
But we know that these guys, they do not play by the rules. Yeah. Time and time again, we see that. So as he gets closer, as we could maybe see some accountability, is there any chance that he could be taken off the case or something?
No, so that's a great question that a lot of people have been asking, actually. Can Biden or Merrick Garland, as the Attorney General, cancel John Durham? They can't. They
uncancelable.
Actually,
can't even say the word.
That's a good word. So basically, the logistics are he has federal prosecutions ongoing in federal court, multiple places. There is no federal judge in the world that will be okay the Department of Justice shutting down a prosecution.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, no, I know that. I used to do that. The only way a federal prosecution stops is if the Department of Justice walks into court and says, we're dismissing this case, which John Durham isn't going to do.
There's no chance.
Not based on what he's put out. Plus, he already has a conviction. And he says, in every one of those pleadings, my investigations are ongoing against the targets in the indictment and all these other people. So if he wasn't doing all that, and if he didn't say all that, then I'd probably be like, okay, I think we're about done. But we're just at the beginning.
Whew, it's just at the beginning. one other thing I'm going to ask you about before you go is obviously major developments happening with Ukraine and Russia. Now he's talking about nuclear situations. I mean, gosh, what is it like seeing this play out, and what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, look, as a former chief of staff for the Department of Defense, it's horrific to see war. And I know there's a lot of people out there in the defense industrial complex that always cheer war because it makes them billions of dollars. I was never one of those guys. President Trump said, get us out of the wars, not into the wars. So look, I actually went on TV for the last 2 months and said I didn't think Putin was going to go into Ukraine because that's
what's a little bit disorienting, because there's a lot of us who felt like, oh, this is the media gaslighting us again. This isn't happening. They're trying to spark war. Gosh, so you say you were even taken by surprise.
I thought he would take it all the way up and maybe grab a little piece of land in the east. I didn't think he would do this full-scale offensive. But in terms of when he says shifting over to nuclear threat, that's just a totally next level playing field that I don't even think he can operate on. But what he can get out of it is media, propaganda. He can say, hey, maybe I'll just shift my nuclear posture. And in military speak, it's not much of a difference in terms of shifting our nuclear posture. We're always ready. America's always ready. Everybody with nuclear weapons is on the ready. That's what they're for. So when you shift it, you just publicly say, I'm doing this, and then the world reacts. And that's what he's doing. America doesn't go out there and say, we're shifting our nuclear posture. It's not like we're not ready. 24/7, 365, that's what the DOD does. So for him to say that, I think is just more along the lines of what's in his head, and probably because he's kind of losing. Like, the Ukrainians are beating him back, which no one thought was going to happen, and now he's probably like, wait, I got to get the narrative back.
We've seen videos of some Ukrainians kind of joking around with the Russian troops there. Yeah. He's not winning this battle. It's
amazing to see the power of the Ukrainian soldiers and the civilians who are just signing up to go fight, beating back tanks. It's interesting to see Russians missing their targets on missile launches, seeing the ineptitude of their actual apparatus in place. So, I just heard also that the Ukrainians sent a delegation to Moscow to talk to the Russians, which I think is always the best play, diplomacy to end this war quickly, inside of a week or two. That is always what you want. So hopefully they get it right, but they're going to need help from us. And this is what I've been saying all weekend. Our national security apparatus is so weak under President Biden that Putin, Xi Jinping, and China are taking advantage of Americans' failed diplomacy and lowered posture in the world. And that's what they're continuing to do. Who did we send over there? Kamala Harris, a week before. And then President Putin canceled his phone call with President Biden. That would never happen under Trump.
That was going to be my next question. Would we have even gotten to this point? You say no?
History speaks for itself. Under Obama, Putin invaded Crimea. In the 4 years of Trump, no invasion. We turned off 3 world wars. Under Biden, in 13 months, Afghanistan catastrophe, Ukraine war, and the failure at the border is, just another example of the failed policies of the national security front and the over-politicization of them saying, well, what does the media want us to do and say? They want us to make phone calls. And we have the Secretary of State. This is one of the most shocking things. Secretary of State Blinken came out the other week and said, we've been watching this for 3 months. Well, what have you been doing? You just been watching?
Yeah.
So your response was, we're going to monitor it? And then this late-breaking news that President Biden and his team were actually giving sensitive troop intelligence movements to the Chinese government, who turned around and gave it to Putin? What the heck are they thinking? It's just outrageous, failed international politics and international diplomacy and more of all, national security.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I want to get you on your way.
Okay,
good. No, I'm happy to have you. Keep talking. I'm trying to get you on your way, but that's great.
It's a self-promotion. So if your audience could check out my initiative, fightwithcash.com. Basically, after years in the Russiagate battle with Devin, we got it name called, we got called crazy things, but then they started defaming us, which is what the media's move is. That's where they're going to go to John Durham next. Right now it's personal attacks, then it's defamation. But I learned everyday Americans were defamed along the way. But they said they were like, we don't have the money, we don't know the lawyers, we don't know how the legal system works. So I started a charity, fightwithcash.com with a K. And basically we raise money, and you can message us directly. Our team will review the case for free. And if you have a case, we'll pay the check for your
What about parents, an Army veteran and a pastor in my school district that were arrested and put in jail overnight just for speaking out in a school board meeting?
Tell them to message us at fightwithcash.com, and if there's a legal action to be taken,
it's insane what's happening.
We will take it. And then you can get awesome merch like this, which all goes back to the charity.
Awesome.
So I appreciate
glad you told me about that. I definitely want to follow up with you, but I do want to get you on your way. So thank you so much.